Hi, it's Pastor Paul L. Anderson here at the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, where we believe God's blessings never stop flowing. It is Marvelous Monday. Thank you also very much, those of you who were with us in person worship and those who watched us virtually. Thank you so very much for liking and for sharing and sending your comments. Today, as we wind down near almost the last day of February, today on February the 27th, 1988, the figure skater Debbie Thomas became the first African American to win a medal, a bronze at the Winter Olympics. Congratulations and thank you for setting a new mark for us all. Today I invite you to look with me at Psalm 32, a very powerful passage. This is a Psalm of David. David begins to remind us of two things. The first thing he reminds us, it's all gone. Aren't you grateful to know that the text reminds us that David was a man who loved God and who was after God's own heart. But David had to deal and wrestle with all the sins of his life. He was plagued with the sins of being in leadership. He was plagued with the sins of all the temptations that came his way, and he couldn't say no to some of them. But David does something that is so powerful in the text. He reminds us it's all gone. He said, all of my sins have been forgiven. In my years of disobedience, in my years of not being obedient to God and to God's word, all those years that I used, allowing other idols to enter into my life, even under my leadership as a king, David realized the importance that he confessed his sins. Because of his confession of sins, he knew that God would forgive him, and God had pardoned him of all of his sins. It is for that reason he says, it's all gone. You see, prior to that, David thought he was in control. You know, I guess he felt that he was like the song that we heard from Janet Jackson, I'm in control, but she realized she was not in control. Even after we're grown, even after we become adults, we need to remind ourselves that God has to be in control. When David confesses his sins, he finally acknowledges that, God, I thank you. I tried to hide my guilt, but you always saw right through it. I tried to hide my rebellion, but you saw all the way through it. I thought I was in control, but I realized that I was controlling myself to go down a wrong road and to go down the wrong path. Some of us may be like David, or may be like David even now, even after it's been in our past life, that we thought we were in control. But God reminded us when we try to take matters in our very own hands, it is then that we find ourselves really being out of control. It's amazing how David uses the analogy that we put a bit in a horse's mouth or mule. We tell them to go left, to go right. We tell them to stop. We tell them to move forward. But isn't it amazing that God gives us free will? And for that reason, he doesn't have to put a bit in our mouths, but he puts his word in our heart. And if his word is in our heart, it is then that we will love God with all of our heart, with all of our mind, with all of our soul. And we'll cease from all of our ways of being disobedient, and we'll put our faith and our trust in God. Sin causes misery. David had a miserable life, but he found the joy when God had forgiven him of his sins. That's why he can say, restore unto me the joy of my salvation. Always know, like David found out, you're exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and God is going to do something bigger than you've ever seen in the year of 2023. It will be greater than you ever imagined it would be. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you. And I'll see you on tomorrow.
To sow a seed to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship, visit our newly redesigned website, thefountainofraleigh.org, and select Sow a Seed from the homepage. Also, giving has been made easier with the new Fountain of Raleigh app, available now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. Download today, select Giving from the main menu, and then follow the directions to complete your giving through Subsplash.
Thank you so very much for all of your gifts and donations that you've given to the Fountain of Raleigh Fellowship. We thank you for what you've done in the past, what you're currently doing, and what you will do in the future. Your gifts and donations helps us to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, not only locally, but throughout the world. Thank you again for your gifts, and may God continue to richly bless you. It is here at the Fountain that we believe that we are exceedingly and abundantly blessed, and may you receive those blessings that God has in store for you.